Hi, welcome to another episode of Travel Tales with Debika. I have a very interesting program for today. I have Shailu from CGH Earth, who's going to be talking about his properties. And we're going to be talking about Kerala. Kerala is a wonderful state. It's in the Malabar coast. And it is very rich in history. And people don't know very much about it. They just say it's God's country, but it's more than just God's country. It's about wellness. It's about wildlife. Spices. Have you ever heard of peppercorns? They were considered gold, black gold in the old days when the Portuguese came. We had people from Rome who came all the way just to get some spices. We had people from China who came. The British came. They settled. There were a lot of colonization in that area, and everybody fought just to stay in Kerala. Kochi was the place in those days. Hi Shailu, how are you?
Debika. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Shailu,
show.
after staying at your property, I had to have you come and be on my show. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask you, Kerala is such a rich state, as I mentioned. I just want to touch a little bit on the history because you're from Kerala, and I'd like you to give your take on what you feel Kerala is about.
So, first of all, Kerala is a part of India.
Yes.
It's the southernmost tip of India, I would say. And on the Arabian Sea on one side, and we have another state on the other side. So India is a very federal system, like in United States. When we got our independence, it was quite a difficult task to put all these regions together, because I call Kerala, India as a Europe situation, wherein there is Italy, there is Spain, there is Germany, Switzerland, all very, very vibrant and very varied culture, and that's what India is. So we put all of this together, but every state had its own region as its own identity. So Kerala had its own identity. So Kerala as a state was formed because we spoke that language. We had a different cuisine, we had a different style of functioning, we had different culture. So all those made sure that Kerala had a very different and unique identity. And in a federal system, as I say, everybody was put under one country, but with governments which has a local, each state or region has a local government. So Kerala is 1/10 the size of California, to put the size of my little state into perspective. But Kerala, why is Kerala so important to India and to the United States, and for the clients to come there, for a guest to come there? Kerala, why Kerala? Kerala is a combination of history, culture, nature, people all coming together. It's a good mix, I would say. It's a good masala in Indian word.
Yes.
If I can use that Indian word. So Kerala, the history of Kerala starts quite late. We call it the Dravidian culture.
Right.
The Aryans and the Dravidians. We go back to those days when there was a lot of people who came through the north of India from now called Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan. That area, and came to India, invaded India, and all that. And it is believed that we were the people who were pushed below the mountains, and so. Maybe we are the real Indians. We don't know. I reserve that comment.
I agree with you. You are the real Indians.
So I reserve that comment. But then, but a touchy subject. So
it is.
But having said that, so when we settled down, as we lived our life, there has been a lot of changes which has happened in Kerala for good and for bad, but then it's all helped us in the way Kerala is today. To start with, I think we because we are a port, because we have a long coastline, we always attracted tourists. We always attracted tradesmen from different parts of the world. The first to come to Kerala is believed to be Greeks.
Yes.
Greeks, it is believed that there is a port in Greek, and at some time of the year you start your ship, your mast. Those days there was no engine, so it was a mast which took the ship from one port to the other. So you start in some period in the year, and then the wind starts blowing, and this ship is taken by the wind to the coast of India, and that happened to be Kerala. So the Greeks were the first to come, and they started this port called Muziris. And it's a very Greek name,
Yes.
for Kerala to have a name like that itself is very different. So Muziris, Greeks were the first to came. They all came for trading spices, and somehow this word spread around saying that Kerala has something very unique. The Greeks came, started trading. The second community to come was the Jews. They were the Jews. The Jews came, settled down in Muziris. If you go to Muziris, which is about 2 hours from the main business capital of Kerala called Cochin, you will still see 3 synagogues, which is not active synagogues, but you will see the remains of synagogues. Some Jewish community which lived there, which later migrated to Israel. So you will see a vibrant culture there which existed at one point of time. What happened later was Muziris got destroyed by tsunami. And that is when the entire port got shifted to Kochi.
Okay.
But otherwise, it was during the Dutch time, if I'm not mistaken. The Dutch had a palace in Muziris.
They did.
And it got destroyed, and then later they had to shift their palace and the port to Fort Cochin. That's a history. So right from the Greeks to the Jews, in between the Arabs, the Chinese, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the British were the last to leave.
They're always.
So you know the kind of impact it would have done to Kerala. But for me, the unique feature of this is that socially we started interacting with a very Western world right from those days. So for the DNA, I always say this, the tourism is in our DNA. Because we've been doing this for so many years of receiving guests. Somebody came, became part of our community, somebody were friends, and somebody started colonizing us and they ruled us, you know. But the fact is that we got used to a foreign traveler. We know his taste. We know what he's coming for. We start communicating to him much, much faster than any other part of India does. Mm-hmm. That is because it's in our DNA. So the history of Kerala is it's a Malayalam word. Malayalam is our language. It's called land of coconuts. Yes. And we are the land of coconuts. Very tropical. The flora, fauna, birding, wildlife is fantastic. So land of coconuts called Kerala. In a tourism tagline, we say God's own country. The reason why we say God's own country is that we are blessed with some good climate and nature. We don't have extreme climatic conditions. We don't have snow. No. Neither we have desert. No. So my temperature doesn't go below. I mean, my winter, maybe you'll be surprised. My winter maximum is 15 degrees Celsius. So in Fahrenheit, it would be about 35. Yes. 35, between 35 and 40. And my summer is about 35 degrees Celsius, which is Fahrenheit would be about somewhere about 80 degree Fahrenheit. So that is what I am saying, my winter and my summer. So we don't have extreme climate conditions. And actually that has also helped us to have a different nature. I think climate also has a role to play in the character and the manners and behavior of people. We are quite chilled, I would say. Yes. Yeah. If somebody wants to come and fight with us, we say in our country, we'll first ask him to have a beer and then let's fight. Yes. So cool down, chill, and then let's fight. So that's the nature of because we haven't gone through that extreme any of the extreme things for us to be extreme. Mm-hmm. So we are very, very neutral, very in many things. Now that's a history of Kerala. That is how Kerala evolved in so many years as to what it is today. That's from the history point of view. Now, what is the beauty of Kerala? I think I would say it as we go by and certain important factors of Kerala, which we will I think touch upon. So history of Kerala is that Kerala was formed and then as a state was formed in 1956 when the government constituted the India as a country. It was formed in 1956 and that was the birth of Kerala, I would say. Before that, we didn't have that identity of Kerala. We had different princely kingdoms, small kingdoms which came together. So this is a small and brief history of Kerala.
What I loved most when I came to Kerala is that you see the different colonizations that took place, yes, especially at Brunton Boatyard. We'll be talking about your properties later on. Sure. You have the high English tea, yes, which is amazing. When you go into the backwaters, you see the Chinese fishing nets. Yes. How many people know that Hyun Sung came to India, yes, and he left behind the Chinese form of fishing that is still done today in Kerala. And then from Kerala, excuse me, they learned martial arts started in Kerala, and that was taken to China and taken to the next level. Exactly. But the most beautiful part that I found in Kerala was the Jewish people came. And this is the story I remember from my history days in high school. The history that I learned during my days was when the Jews came, they were running away from the persecution in
Holocaust,
Persia,
yeah.
and they had docked. And the king at that time said, "I don't want you coming to my state because I don't want any. I don't want you forcing people to embrace Judaism."
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "No, we wouldn't. That's not part of our religion. It's not done that way." Taking that story and coming to present day India, now you know that there's hardly any Jewish heritage in India because a lot of the Jews have left. They've gone to Israel and other parts of the world. You remember the case of Sarah?
Yep,
Her husband died when he was 88 years old.
Yeah.
And we're just discussing about it,
Definitely.
how her husband found a Muslim caretaker. She was very much against it. Husband insisted on having him.
Yes.
And he took care of her like a son.
Definitely.
But it just goes to show you, what I'm trying to show over here is Kerala is very different from other states. You will not hear about hatredism between one religion and another.
So the harmony of Kerala,
Yes.
I think the social fabric is very strong. And that is also to do with the fact that we've been seeing different cultures and different communities for so many years. If you really look at it, Kerala was a Hindu state,
Yes.
Hindu state. Christianity came to Kerala before it went to Rome. That's
Right.
what we say. St. Thomas Apostle, one of the disciples of Jesus Christ, came to Kerala to do some social work and also to spread Christianity.
Well, they say Jesus came to India too.
Yeah, India too.
Now,
And he lived
Jesus
in
came, then there's something good about India.
Absolutely, he lived in Kashmir, and
Yes.
so there's another narrative.
Yeah.
But this is recorded in the history that St. Thomas Apostle brought Christianity to Kerala. That's called Nasrani, Syrian Christians.
Yes.
The Syrian Christians were the first Christianity as it stands today to come to Kerala so people actually, I think when St. Thomas Apostle was there, a lot of people actually from Hinduism they converted into Christianity. And then that is why we have a strong Christian community in Kerala today. Okay,
Yes.
And there are different types of Christian. Later on, Syrian, then Roman Catholics, Syrian, Latin, then Protestants. Everybody started to have their own base there. So the first mosque in India was built in Kerala.
Yes.
Yeah. So we embraced all these different types of religion right from those days. From I think in it was first century that St. Thomas Apostle came.
Right.
So from right then on, we've been used to different types of religion, and it's a matter of coexistence. We are a small state, so we respect each and everybody's way of worshipping or having faith, and we respect that. Live and let live. That's been our policy all the way along. That's been the policy today. So our social fabric is much more stronger than any other part of India. That is because again I go back to the old cultures by the Western world, which is, I think that has been that's helped us to form a different approach to how we embrace a lot of new things.
Right.
So as we speak today, we have a very good balance between all the three religions in Kerala. Jews in between came. The first Jews came for trading. The other type, but they did not settle down.
No.
They did their business and they went back.
Right.
The people who settled down for some time were the Jews who were thrown out of Europe during the Holocaust time.
Holocaust and Persian.
Yeah. So there were only two doors which were open to them in India, which was Mumbai and Cochin.
Right.
These two ports were open to them, and we accepted them because we knew what they were going through. So they needed shelter, and we gave them shelter. So they came, they settled, and it was only the late 70s or early 80s that they moved back to Israel. Some families stayed back, like
Sarah
stayed back. And the beauty of that is that, when they would have come and they would have seen around, them would have been a Portuguese influence and the Dutch influence and the Islamic influence and the Christian influence and all that. So I'm sure that they found a beautiful home there. That is why we have a beautiful Jewish synagogue there in Cochin today.
It's amazing.
Fantastic master.
But I don't mean to cut in. It was very interesting because the synagogue that we went to, they adopted the Hindu way of religion in the sense that they would take their shoes off.
Yep.
They would not go into a place of worship with their shoes on.
It's a temple, right?
Yes.
It's a temple.
But it's such a strange way of adopting another person's religion and making it a part of your own. But that's the beauty of Kerala, isn't it? And what I love is that everybody's educated. There's no begging. The women
Yeah.
are empowered, right?
Yeah. So
Yes.
that's another aspect of Kerala.
Yes.
So we also learn a lot of things from the Jews. You know, I mean, it's
Absolutely.
always learning from one culture
To another.
to another. So it's a must see. The Jewish synagogue is a must see when you come to Cochin, and you know how they lived and their settlement, and you know, Kerala also we are proud of few things. I would say we were the first in a lot of things in India.
Yes.
And in Asia also we were the first region in Asia to be considered by United Nations as 100% literate state.
Yes.
So which means that every person in Kerala can read and write. Now, read and write means not necessarily English, but they can read and write the
Their
language, our local language, or one of the any language they can read and write. So everybody can, know what's happening around the world through their newspapers in the morning and all that. Women outnumber the men in Kerala.
Yes,
That's another feature of Kerala. Why I'm saying it is a feature of Kerala is because in Kerala, in families, irrespective of the faith that we follow, for a girl child coming into the family is prosperity, is good omen, good blessing comes to the family. So, and also it is also to do with the fact that the infant mortality rate in Kerala is very low because we have a fantastic healthcare system, which is as comparable to as anywhere in Europe. So our infant mortality is very, very low, which there's no death in terms of newborns are concerned. And also our life expectancy level is also quite high, which is comparable to Europe. That is also to do with our way of life and our health medical
talking
system.
about mortality and wellness.
Yes.
South India, especially Kerala, is known for wellness, Ayurveda, which is the ancient art form of the Vedic way of life.
Absolutely.
You know, you eat with your hands, you eat from a banana leaf. No, people don't understand, they eat from a banana leaf because it's cheap and you throw it away. That's not the point. No, they don't understand there's a scientific way. You know, there's potassium in the banana leaf. So that potassium gets absorbed by the food that is placed on the banana leaf.
Sure.
So you eat from there. So it's healthy.
Absolutely.
These are things that people don't know.
So Ayurveda or the wellness in Kerala started I mean years and years, 3,000 years ago, without the knowledge that we were actually following a medical system.
Right.
It was a way of life.
It was.
What my grandmother, I can talk about myself, what my grandmother did.
Yes.
She now if I look at it, she led a Ayurveda life.
Yes.
Yeah? Now today Ayurveda is positioned as an alternate medical system. Rightly so, because we've got a lot of things happening around the world in Kerala as well as outside Kerala, for which Ayurveda is used as a tool to eradicate and cure a lot of things. But she did not have anything to cure.
No.
Because she led a life which she did not eat anything which was not grown naturally in Kerala.
Right.
No apple came to her table. It's because Kerala doesn't grow apples.
No.
So what came to her table is what is grown in the neighborhood and what is seasonal.
Yes.
We didn't eat anything which was not seasonal. If mango is available to us, we eat mango. If jackfruit was a season, we eat jackfruit. So the reason being that the nature, according to Ayurveda, the nature has given us a system to live on. This is what the nature produces during this time of the year, and that is what you eat.
Right.
So you follow the nature, for sure you don't have to worry about anything. But what happened later was that due to our interest to know different type of food, different type of things, we actually turned our lifestyle into different things, and then we started having our problems or lifestyle related problems. So Ayurveda, what it does, it is not a rocket science. It is simply asking you to lead a way of life. Today it cures you into a lot of things, cleanses you, the detox, rejuvenation, cleansing, all that happens in Ayurveda, because you will have to make the body good for treatment first. So all lifestyle kind of treatment issues like blood pressure, blood sugar, obesity, sleep disorder, depression, all these kind of things are cured by it without a problem. It is not touristic. Unfortunately, the flip side of Ayurveda is, tourism actually took Ayurveda to different parts of the world from Kerala. The flip side of that is in the process of conveying this message, the Ayurveda as a science got a little diluted also. So Ayurveda is not about massage or dropping that oil over the head, as a picture would indicate in many,
Yes.
It is no, Ayurveda is only, massage is only a small tool of this whole entire treatment. It's a small factor of the entire treatment. The whole treatment is different. It doesn't start and end with a massage. And it takes minimum 2 weeks. If you want to cure something, people come for 2 weeks, 3 weeks and 4 weeks. Because they want to fix a problem. They want to cure a problem. Somebody wants to just do rejuvenation, they can do it in 2 weeks too. There is anything which is done below 2 weeks, I would say it's a touristic Ayurveda.
It is.
Compressed for the convenience of the client. You cannot go to a doctor and say that I have only so many days, cure me. The doctor
You
can
can't.
come around and say that, you come when you have some time.
You know what is very funny? People come and tell me, because I did my research on Ayurveda.
Sure.
So it depends on what part of Ayurveda you participate in.
Sure.
There is a season for everything.
Definitely.
People don't realize, okay, you go for a massage, it has to be done right after the monsoon season.
Yep.
Why after the monsoon season? Is your pores open up and the oil gets absorbed, the nutrients in the oil. So it's funny how you go to different hotels and this is what they're selling now. What is interesting is that Western medicine, the Western doctors are now embracing Ayurveda. I want to go to CGH Earth because this is what you imbibe. When I come to your properties, I feel I'm coming home. Why do I say that? It's because when I come to your hotel, everybody who works at the hotel, they're waiting for me. They know when I'm arriving. They're speaking to my representatives, my office, saying, when is your guest coming?
Yeah.
So there I am at the hotel.
Sure.
And they're waiting for me. They have a garland, they all say hello. And when I go to my room, it depends which CGH Earth hotel I go to, there is welcome written on the floor with my name on it. Or there's a garland, and everybody knows my name,
Sure.
which is very nice. It's very personal. And then when I'm leaving again, everybody is there. Now, when we talk about CGH Earth, who came up with this concept and what is CGH Earth?
Yeah, it's a little long story. I'll try to make it as short as possible. So CGH Earth necessarily means clean, green, healthy earth. That's what we are. But that's not what it's started off with. I'm going to take this back to about 65 years ago when a man from a village where the plantation, in the village where they do the plantation, rubber plantation, he was asked to join, as he grew up after the college, he was asked to join the family business of plantation, rubber plantation, which he thought was very boring job to do. So he jumped the wall because you cannot ask permission to do anything else because you'll be shot. So he jumped the wall to a city called Cochin then, and he, along with his friends, he said he need to do something very different. And then there was a hotel up for sale then, which we call Malabar Hotel now.
I remember that hotel.
Yeah, which is managed by the Taj, by the way, now. So
Yes.
he took his three friends and him took this three friends took this hotel on lease from the British company called Spencer and Company.
Yes.
Spencer and Company gave it to them lease and later they bought it also. So they ran it for 3 years or so. And later on, as the friends, as they started making money, I think, between the friends at times, it's not always, fun.
No.
They had their own difference of opinion, and then he opted out of this whole partnership. But he realized the fact that there is something new here in this hoteliering business. So he made a restaurant very near to Taj Malabar Hotel. He started doing new things there. The restaurant, he brought in the first tandoor into Cochin because tandoor was North Indian,
Right.
and it was something novel to people there. And then he wanted to serve beer and wine, and then the rule said that you have to have some rooms attached to your restaurant. Only then the government will give you a sanction to serve beer and wine. So just to serve beer and wine, he constructed 15 rooms.
Ah, okay.
So, and he realized a fact little later that 15 rooms started selling well. And of course, the beer and the wine also started selling well. So then 15 became 20, 20 became 30, and this hotel started to grow. And he wanted to, when he started off with his rooms, he wanted to name this hotel something, very catchy, peppy name it has to be. Because if you look at Cochin, it has an airport nearby.
Yes.
It has a very vibrant port, and it has a very vibrant railway station. So it was a pretty vibrant, that area was very quite vibrant. So he wanted people to come, and he wanted to keep a name which attracts people very easily. So one of his friends who had just been to Vegas said, name it casino. He said, but we don't have casino. It's okay. Just name it casino, doesn't matter. Anybody who would come and feel disappointed that there is no casino will still drink a beer. Somebody who's happy that there is no casino still will drink a beer. Somebody who's not happy and unhappy also will drink a beer. So it's win-win-win anyway. So don't think too much, name it casino. So he named it casino. Later on, he then had 5 sons. So he was a very wise man. He put different sons into different colleges. One went for hotel management, one went for finance, one went for engineering. And that was the start of an empire, I would say, which we call CGH Earth now. So the 5 sons grew up, and then as they grew up, they started taking interest in managing this one hotel. And later on, the eldest son, Mr. Jose Dominic, he realized that, of course, there is hotels. We built a hotel, we successfully ran it for so many years. But he then said that, maybe this is not the future for hotels. We need to have a very different idea for a hotel. He took that risk of breaking this whole hotel formula. And he said, the client is not coming for a built space luxury. Client will always come for something he doesn't get where he is coming from. That means you need to show the destination first, and you need to bring in the ethos of the destination into the 4 walls of the hotel. He is not coming to see a chandelier or a marble. What he is going to come here and understand is the culture, the people, the flora, fauna, the birds and the wild. That is what he's chosen to come to Kerala from far off place. Otherwise, there are a lot of things available within his reach. Even from US, if you want to really see something very opulent, which is luxury in its built space, you don't have to travel to India. You can travel within America to see in its finest form. So India cannot afford that. And Kerala is not a place, a tropical place is not a place we have much more things to. So we actually looked at the way the hoteliering was going. When you looked at a hotel brochure those days, early 60s, 60 years back, what you had in a brochure, you had hot and cold water, you had a swimming pool, you had a TV channel, cable TV channel, 24 hours room service.
Yes.
These were all luxury for a person when he went for holiday then. Because we don't get all these things in our doorstep then.
No.
We have not a pool, nor a gym, nor a 24 hours hot water, cold water, nor a room service. But look at today's our life. All these things are available in our doorstep, right?
Yeah.
Your Uber Eats will give you whatever you want at your doorstep. It's a room service for you in a way. There is a gym nearby, there is a club nearby, you can use the pool if you don't have it at home. So it's become, all this is not what you're seeking when you're going for a holiday. So what else are you seeking? What are you deprived in a daily life? You are deprived of beautiful nature. You are deprived of some quality air to breathe. You are deprived of some green around you. You are deprived of being woken up by birds. You are deprived of touching and feeling the earth. This is what you are deprived of today, and that is what is luxury. So he realized that luxury tomorrow is going to be that, and rightly so. When he thought about it 30 years ago, he didn't realize that in 30 years it will take so much of a turn in terms of holidaying is concerned. To that extent, it is I was reading an article in London a couple of months back. There was a news report about how holidaying is changing. So there's a family was making a plan to go somewhere, in some destination, and they called up the hotel and they were looking at the service and all that. And the question he asked is, do you have Wi-Fi in the room? So this gentleman who was speaking to him said, yes sir, we have Wi-Fi in the room, we have so much of bandwidth, blah blah. He said, no, I am not interested. So today the traveler to a large extent is going and seeking holiday in those areas where he can get disconnected from the world and get connected to the earth.
Right.
And I think that is a philosophy and foundation of CGH Earth.
It's taking the person to the soul of the destination.
Absolutely.
But what I also love about your properties, and I'm going to pick on a few of them, although I've stayed in many of them. Each of your property has history.
Sure.
It tells a story. Sure. And that's what I love, because when I do my podcast, I'm telling a story. Your property tells a story. Very rich history. Brunton Boatyard, for instance.
Example.
It's an old heritage.
So it used to be an old boat building yard under the British.
Yes.
Say for example, so the British
Yes.
Ruled Kerala, ruled India, and they had a lot of presence in Kerala too. So under the East India Company, that is what their the Queen's company was. It had the license to build ships and boats, and it was building boats for East India Company, which was supposed to be taken to London or used within India. So when this piece of land was and the structure was been there for so many years, so we wanted to, as a company, when we wanted to grow, we looked at this. So it was a very, very fantastic location, but then we didn't know why nothing was done here. So when we realized the fact that there's a company existed, George Brunton and Company, which was a company which owned that boat building yard, it existed. And there was one of the directors who was still alive. So we reached out to him. He said that we want to buy the company. So he said, there is nothing for you to buy. That's just a piece of land. So he said, we want the piece of land. So we bought that company from him. And then we looked around and we said, so as I said, for us, there are certain, as CGH is concerned, there are certain things which is non-negotiable as far as we are concerned. Whatever we do from a hoteliering point of view, we are very local in our content.
Yes.
That means whatever we design, the design of the hotel, the ethos of the hotel, the soul of the hotel has to be very local.
I wanted to talk about one of your properties, Brunton Boatyard. It's so beautiful. It looks like a colonial building. It looks very old, but it also gives you the feel of the Portuguese. It has a lot of woodwork. You go into the rooms, they're lavish, but still it's very, what should I say? It's not opulent. You go to any Indian home, that's how an Indian home is. Large rooms, huge bathrooms. It's all about luxury, but in a very, very simple manner. Can you talk about that, please?
So it comes from the fact that as an organization, when we started hoteliering, so there are certain things which was non-negotiable. And one of those primary thing was to be very local in content. So whenever we went to a destination to build hotel, we wanted all those what is available in the destination would come into the four walls, especially from an architecture point of view. Because, when you talk about luxury, as I said earlier, we are not giving you what we are not. We are giving you what we are. So if going to Fort Cochin, which had the history of the British, the Portuguese, the Dutch, we had to give you something. We had to give the client something very similar to what it was at one point of time. So when this was a boatyard under the British, we took it up. We bought over the company from them. The company was called George Brunton and Company. The simple thing, the brief to the architect was to copy the next building, because all what you see in Fort Cochin area is Portuguese and Dutch architecture. So he built maybe a little better than what you see in the neighborhood, but he built a fantastic hotel for us, and we named it Brunton Boatyard. I mean, because it was an old boat building yard, and so we connected it with the history. So when a client checks in today, we would ask the client, what do you think? When was this built? So the client would say 100 years, 150 years. No, it was just built 20 years ago. Because even from the switch to the fan to the lamps, everything is taking you about 100 to 150 years ago.
It does.
It's very colonial in its experience, and space, yes, for a space is very, very important aspect of a hotel, because you're coming for a holiday and your room, your public area, you shouldn't get suffocated anywhere. Space is luxury today.
Yes.
Right? So that also becomes a part of luxury in CGH. The space, the character of the hotel, and also when you get up in the morning, you should feel that you are in Fort Cochin, you are in Kerala, you see Kerala, you smell Kerala, that particular destination is in your head by then. I think that is what from Brunton Boatyard to many hotels, if you look at our hotels, even if you stayed, we've got say 19 properties all over South India, right? If you stayed with all the 19 properties, you wouldn't realize the fact that you stayed with a chain of hotels.
No.
Because there is nothing which is repetitive as an experience. Each has its own compelling evocation. I think that is what makes us different as a hotelier.
Okay. On that point, I want to talk about Kumarakom.
Right.
Because what I love about Kumarakom is you have your main house.
Yes.
That used to be a governor's a governor's
Old
governor's home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's now been converted into a breakfast room,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Then you have the different cottages that have come from different parts of Kerala. Am I correct?
Correct.
And that's what's so beautiful about it. It's just each cottage has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Everything has something to say.
Exactly. This is what you see.
This is
the mansion that we're
Yes.
seeing. So Kokalagoon, we call it as a celebration of Kerala.
Right.
So in the backwaters, if you see, there are a lot of Keralan houses. And for us, wood was a big factor in our architecture right from ancient days. And the beauty of our wood architecture is that we never used nail or FEV
No.
we had a very those days the carpenters had a very good system of interlocking the woods.
Yes.
And so in this architecture, what you see, there is no nail or FEV use. It's all interlocking system. So that's the beauty of the Keralan architecture. So when we wanted to build a hotel in backwaters, what the first thing is to rebuild a Keralan architecture, because that is what is around you. Now we didn't have enough homes around the backwaters to finish this hotel. So we had to really go around Kerala, look at these old houses. Some were depleted, some, people then, the scale of building was huge. But today, people have gone into very, molecular family and, earlier, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, 2 sons, daughter, everybody lived in a house. So you can understand the scale, 5 bedroom, 6 bedroom, big verandas, Nowadays, as people moved out and started living separately, these kind of houses, to take care of these kind of houses became a big responsibility of whom this house went to. So it would really go to one of the sons or daughter, So for them, it's a big responsibility. So they started selling it out, and people started buying it and then selling it for, artifacts, or what do you call it, the antiques and all the wood and all that. But what we did was we bought a lot of these houses and recreated the same houses in this hotel. So it's actually a museum hotel, wherein you go there, as you said, each house is about 150 years old.
Yes.
The restaurant itself belonged to a big family, very reputed family in Kerala, who later became, and from that family later he became the chief minister of Kerala, the first chief minister of Kerala. So we bought it from them because they couldn't manage it, and we reconstructed here. So it's like a museum hotel. Maybe the room that you're staying is 150 year old.
Yes.
You don't know. So, and we used to have, those days, it was not room numbers. We used to have name for the room as the family name of where this particular house came from. Some Kurali, this, that, all that. So that is what Kokal Lagoon is. It's a celebration of Kerala.
I want to also talk about Spice Village.
Yes.
Because that's also very different. To give a feel of what it is, you have these thatched huts. You have a beautiful restaurant. Everything is open air.
Yeah.
You have the monkeys that come in. You have to be careful because you have to keep your doors closed.
Closed, yes.
If you don't close your doors, the monkeys are going to come in.
You'll have a guest in the room.
Right. But what was also very nice when I stayed at this property is even on your property, you have people coming, and the thatched huts that people are looking at are really actual thatch huts that you have to change every season. And I saw them doing that.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
So
and why did you come up with something like this?
So Spice Village was an area the area that is called Thekadi, Periyar or Thekadi, it's a land of spices.
Right.
So this is how this is where the spices were grown, and this is from where it all started.
Yes.
You name it, we have it. From pepper to nutmeg to cinnamon to turmeric to ginger to vanilla to whatever we say about spices today, it's all grown here. So this was the nature was very good here. So we thought that this is something that the tourist will like coming to Kerala. How do we know that the spice that we use today, like pepper, how is it grown? Nobody has a clue.
Right.
Is it a fruit? It's a tree? Does it certain ginger, turmeric? How is it turmeric? You only see the powder, right? We don't know. So we thought that it will be interesting for somebody who comes from a Western world to come and see in a tropical country how these plants are, how this vegetation is. That was the idea behind Spice Village. So when we came to this area, we looked around what was available as an architecture. All what we had was tribal huts.
Yes.
So this is a little more enhanced form of a tribal hut, maybe because we need tourists to be comfortable in their room and all that. But what you see as thatch and what you see as the wall, everything was a copy from them.
But even your toilets, your bathrooms, I know that when we stayed at Kumbakonam, one of your properties there, the bathroom was outdoor to give a feel of what village life is about.
Correct.
Even when we stayed at Kumarakom,
It's open to sky.
It's open to the sky. Even over here, even though this is not, it wasn't opened, but the bathroom itself was very rustic. But not rustic in the rustic sense, but it gave you a feel.
Exactly. It was elegant. And it is interesting. Good you brought this up. So what you see here, and the door, the frame, the furniture, the bathroom fittings, everything came from recycled wood. We did not cut a tree to make this hotel. So we had a contract with the customs department in Kerala. So they had lot of such big wooden crates, where machinery used to come. And these were all discarded.
Right.
No use. Wood, no use. We bought all of them. And for them to sell it at a cheap price for us, we brought it and we used all those frames, like the furniture, like the window, like in the bathroom, fittings everywhere. So, and it was done elegantly by the architect also, so that it's not out of place. But everything what you see in this hotel was built by recycled wood. There was no tree, not a wood which came from cutting a tree. So that way, I think Spice Village does have this unique distinction of being very, very sensitive to the nature and earth. This is one of those first hotels, I think, in India where more than 75% of its energy is photovoltaic. It's drawn from the sun.
Right.
We don't burn fuel for our generator because we have a lot of energy there from the sun. We don't have to have a generator for your electricity. This is a hotel which it all started from a eco-sensitive point of view, where we decided that not even a drop of water as waste will go out of this hotel. Our first compost, first biogas from the waste, this all came about 30 years ago from this hotel. So we actually started doing things much before people started talking about it. And Spice Village was a U-turn for us 30 years. This is a 30-year-old property. This is a U-turn for us as far as our direction into eco-sensitivity is concerned. But we didn't call ourselves a eco-hotel because we didn't want to go into that bandwagon of greenwashing.
Yes.
We wanted our partners and the clients to come to us, stay with us, and understand the impact. So any tourist who comes to a destination does have an impact on the destination. The more the tourists come, the more the destination is going to suffer also, because our tourism, you've seen in different parts of the world, in different cities, who said, okay, we don't want any more tourists.
Right.
They closed door now.
Yes.
This is the maximum we can handle. Rightly so. Even Kerala, we wanted to have that kind of a responsible tourism initiatives. So we wanted to be responsible ourselves. So when you come and stay as a guest, the waste that you've created have no impact on the destination, because we recycle everything. Right from water in your toilet to the waste that we create in terms of food, everything. Either it goes in as a fertilizer for our organic garden, or it is our energy is derived from this waste through biogas plant. Water recycle, used for gardening, used for many other purposes. So there is not even a single percentage of waste which you created has an impact on the destination. It all started from here. This thatching of the roofs, it's a community-driven thing. There are about 3 or 4 families today who are experts in this. So it's a livelihood for them. So every year after the monsoon, they come and thatch it. That itself is great experience for the client.
Yes.
We don't. It's quite strange. When you have a roof removal of a hotel is considered, you need to put stop to your sale because you think that's going to inconvenience client. But for the client, this is a fantastic opportunity to see how this whole thatch is being done. So the clients come there, take photographs of it, they mingle with the community there who does it. For them, it's a very different local experience. So Spice Village that way actually taught us a lot of things, and how the client appreciated the initiatives we took. We have a restaurant there called 50 Mile.
Yes.
It's an initiative of how we can involve community into your tourism, into your business. 50 Mile restaurant is where nothing comes from beyond 50 mile radius. What we serve there comes only from the 50-mile radius. So we go back to the farmers, we guarantee purchase from them, and we buy products on a daily basis. So we don't have a menu there. We have a blackboard wherein which we write everything on daily basis, because we don't know what we are going to get from the. So there is no refrigeration.
No.
So what you get on your plate is as fresh as it could.
Farm to table.
Absolutely farm to table. So, but more than what the impact it is had on the farmers, there is enormous. Today they have gone back into farming because we did it. Other hotels will now emulate it,
right,
which is fantastic. So they have got back into farming. They are making their own crops. They are making their own, different spices. So we buy it from them. So we don't do a bulk purchase or anything. We just buy it from the farmers now.
You also have your candle story about this place, where you go to the people. It's an old art form that was dying.
Yeah.
It was going to, there were families that were giving up on it, and then you revived it. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
So Peria candles, there are a couple of stories about this candle story, and there's a paper making story also. Both these were done at one point of time, but no takers or people not interested in it. So we thought that to benefit the community, we need to do something so that they can go on with their life. They did not do anything else. They didn't know anything else. This was their bread and butter. So we, again, how tourists can be indirectly involved in this, either for our purpose by doing it, or take it as a souvenir or selling it. You go to a paper making unit in our hotel, make your paper. The local community comes and does it. There are 3-4 women who comes and does this whole paper making thing. You can make your own book. You can put your stamp over it. You can write your name over it and take it back. And the kids love it.
Yes.
And most of the books that we use internally in our hotel comes from this paper making. And how the paper is made is from waste again. It's made from vegetable pulp and also waste papers. We make a pulp out of it and we make it. It's a simple method, but for the client to do it, it's a wow thing.
Yes.
And for the community, for them it's a wow thing because they are continuing with the tradition of what they know. Now we want to take it into next level of making them independent. That means they will start making it and they will start selling it also.
Right.
Not to our clients alone, but to the whole world at large. Mm-hmm. That's what we want to take this kind of initiative. So it has to be a community driven. We cannot exist in a destination without making sure that the community is also involved in this. In our hotels, we have 4 walls. Mm-hmm. Actually, these are the walls which actually for security reasons it's there. Mm-hmm. But in our mind, in our psyche, this wall doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. It's a smooth relationship that we have with the community. The client, when they go to that village nearby mm-hmm. for a walk, you should feel the same comfort and the same warmth that they felt in my hotel, and vice versa.
Right.
And that's what we try to do. So all our staff is from the community, except for a chef or an engineer who has to be from a college or from a professional college. But others are all the boys and girls who come, and we just tell them, the only thing that we do, training we give to them is maybe tell them certain dishes for them to understand. Otherwise, we tell them, just behave as a guest has come home. What do you do when your guest comes home? Just do the same. You don't have to do anything. So we don't change their basic DNA.
Right.
So when you go to our hotels, if you meet 5 staff, 5 would greet you in 5 different ways.
Yes.
We haven't taught them how to greet you. They will greet you as you would have come home. They might say namaste. They will say hi Debika. They will say hi, good morning, madam. We just leave it to them. But all of them will greet you like how they know. It's not something pushing certain things onto them. So these are certain things which is actually help the community also around us. So they become part and parcel of us, directly or indirectly.
There are 2 more properties I want to talk about because they really. One property is in Pondicherry,
yes,
where I stayed at.
Yes.
And what I loved, because I remember when many years ago when I went to Pondicherry, that hotel was being built.
Yes.
You had just purchased the property,
yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's like an old colonial French building.
Exactly.
And of course, Pondicherry is about France.
That's right.
Because that's where the French colonization took place.
Correct.
The one thing that I liked about that property is I remember that my group wanted to do yoga. Mm-hmm. Your hotel arranged a yoga session. And we did it on the rooftop early in the morning. So you hear the dogs barking, a mother screaming, and the whole scene. You hear, you feel, and you experience.
Correct.
And you're doing yoga and meditation.
Sure.
And the sun is beating down on you.
Yeah.
So you really get the feel of what Earth is all about. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to also talk about your properties, which is very special, that really touched me. And it meant a lot to me because it was an empowerment media group.
Yeah.
It was about women empowering themselves. And we had, in Chennai, we had met with a group of transgenders.
Yes.
One was a man in the process of becoming a woman. And one that had become a woman. And I remember that this transgender came to the hotel and she was dressed as a woman, and your general manager, what he did, which really touched me, was he immediately sent someone to bring food for this individual. And this person was treated like a human being. This person was hungry, so she was given food. I gave money because I felt that's all I have to give. But this is what I love about your properties. It's not about just selling rooms. It's not just about catering to foreigners. It's not just having a guest. It's also catering to the people in your own country.
Yeah, so it's simple. It's not, as you very rightly said, it's not about Western or Indian, but people started traveling within India very recently.
Yes.
Most of the tourists, as I call tourists in different terms, they were considered to be Westerners. Mm-hmm. People who travel within India were all pilgrimage tours.
Yes.
Only now we've started taking a holiday within our country, right? Coming back to the incident that you mentioned, I think it comes from the fact that, even a guide or somebody comes with your guest to the hotel. So we consider this whole tourism thing as a bead around your neck or a garland, kind of a thing. If you take out one, this whole thing will collapse.
Right.
Every person has a role to play right from the time it is sold to you. From US, you've sold to a client, so you had a role to play.
Yes.
The airline taking you to my country has a role to play. Mm-hmm. Somebody receives you at the airport has a role to play. Yes. Somebody is guiding you and explaining to you the country has a role to play.
Right.
We taking the client, giving them the experience of the hotel, a good bed to sleep, a toilet and good food has a role to play. The driver taking you from one point to the other has a role to play. They are nothing more, nothing less. Everybody plays a very equal role in this. So when everybody plays an equal role, and the client also has a role to play.
Yes.
In this, right? So when you take everybody equal, there is no way we can not respect somebody's role in this whole thing. If somebody has come to meet you for a purpose, they also have a role to play in this. So we cannot make them feel that they are not a part of it. But you will earn much more when you make them feel they are a part of it.
Yes.
Because they become ambassadors of the country. They become ambassadors they will talk about it. They will their empowerment of, especially in this context, their empowerment and confidence will go very high. The respect that they get. So I've seen it. So for us, we have, even though we want to call it as a hotel group, we have less hotel element attached to it. But we need to have a definite name to it, so we are a hotel group. But if that is for want of any other word, which we haven't coined so far. Otherwise, we are not hotel in that respect. We are much more home. People always ask me, who is your competitor in Kerala? Or I said, my biggest competitor is that the homestay guy. Mm-hmm. The guy who has a home and who takes clients in his house.
Yes.
I cannot beat him.
No.
The emotion that he gives to the client is unbelievable, right? Mm-hmm. He is my competition because And that, because he's taking somebody home. So I want my hotel to be home for the client, not a hotel. So each client has to be met with, each client has to be engaged with. So there is a thin line between when to step back and when not. It should be intrusive. But then, we have clients coming and, talking about the staff, where they are living. We have got clients coming and saying that I want to go and see his house, his parents. Right? This is very natural, very normal.
Yeah.
At times we find it difficult to, let them do this because it's far and away, and, it's about how you want to present yourself, and this is the way we have defined our holiday. Mm-hmm. There would be some clients who would want to have a different holiday. They want opulence and, state-of-the-art kind of facilities, and, they want to feel in the build space,
Mm-hmm.
they want to feel luxury. Fine. I mean, there are hotels which will give you that as well. But somebody who wants to, who is my customer? My customer, we have defined my customer. Mm-hmm. And what we have done first is to define the customers. If we have defined the customer, I think the rest of the things will be easy for us to make. If we haven't defined the customer, we will try to satisfy everybody and we will reach nowhere. Mm-hmm. So our definition of a customer is, we call him, like the FIT, GIT, we call him AIT. We call him Alert Independent Traveler. Mm-hmm. He is the guy whom we are seeking as our client, mm-hmm. as our customer. He is the guy whom we are seeking through people like you, who also would have understood my product, what I stand for. Now you know whom to push this for, whom to suggest this for, mm-hmm. And those kind of people will find immense delight coming and staying with me. So, Alert Independent Traveler is a guy who wants to go into who will not mind taking a long haul, mm-hmm. because he's going to learn something, get exposed to something new. His holiday is transformational for him. And that is what we are. Holidaying with CGH is experiential as well as transformational.
It is. Because when I stayed, we went to Kumbhakonam.
Yes.
It's a tiny little place. Not many people know about it.
Correct.
Because when we went there was the rooms were all empty.
Correct.
Maybe for 1 or 2 families.
Correct.
And what I loved about it is that these are also cottages that have been uprooted or maybe dismantled and brought over to this property and rebuilt again. So it's like going to a home.
Correct.
Your own home,
Correct.
basically.
Correct.
And what I enjoyed most is that you had this piece of, you created this hut. Mm-hmm. And it took me back to my childhood days. And over there is, they had the chula,
mm-hmm.
the
fireplace.
Yes. Yeah. Where they made the Indian tea, the kettle, the little glasses, the matkas. And the guy, he was wearing the typical Indian outfit which I loved. Yeah. And I sat there and I thought, my God, this reminds me of the long trips that I used to take with my father many years ago. And we sat on these little benches, but not really benches, but they're charpoys, as we call it, because it's made out of jute. And you sit on it, and then you have the peacocks dancing away. You had birds, the parrots. I have never seen so many parrots in my life before. The lady, she's cleaning the floor, sweeping the floor. And the transistor, the old transistors, you don't get them anymore.
The radios.
Yes. Listening to the music, and then you had those little containers with we call them biscuits in India, the different kinds of biscuits.
Kind of cookies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it was I sat there, and even though in the mornings and the evenings it was open for 1 hour, that 1 hour transported me to a time I thought I'd never go back to. How did you come up with that idea?
So, it is... So when you want to create a village kind of an atmosphere, so that hotel is situated in a village.
Yes.
Like what you look around and see is paddy field and small houses and all that. So when we wanted to create a village within that 4 walls, what are the aspects of the village which come to your mind? Okay, there is a house. There has to be some place to eat. Okay, since it is a hotel, we have to have a front desk, and we are also trying to think hard to say that how to give away with that front desk also. Not to give them a hotel feel at all. They should feel that they're going to a village.
Yes.
Our dream is to build a hotel within a village. Where you will go, the villagers in the village are the people who's going to take your check-in or whatever, who's going to serve you. That's our dream. That's our dream project. We'll get there one day. But these are small baby steps towards that, of creating a village. And this hut becomes an inevitable part of a village. That is where in the evening and the morning, if you would notice, the locals come and they discuss what is happening around India and around the world with this small tea and the news. This whole transistor is for the news for them to hear and some music that they want to hear. So it becomes a very community thing. And even in our hotels, it becomes a community thing, because that 1 hour when this shack, I would call it, or a tea shop, not shack, tea shop. So when this tea shop is open, they come there, they spend this time. So you got different type of people, right? Somebody's from US, somebody's from London, somebody's from India, somebody's from Switzerland. So they all come there and they started mingling to them within themselves. So they'll have the tea, they'll have something to speak. So there's a community. It's kind of a community which happened those days in a village. We are trying to make it happen today. But those days it was a villages. The only change is that now we have the guests coming and trying to recreate that kind of a thing. So it's wonderful. It's an energy place. It's a very vibrant energy place where, when you have a lot of people coming and discussing and talking around, it naturally becomes a very vibrant place. So we try to recreate that, but it starts from the thought that what does a village need? What is the concept of this hotel? What is the concept of this hotel, and what all it when you think about the concept, what are the things needed to make that work? Now it is like this. If I didn't have the tea shop, you will not miss it. Okay, but since I have it, the impact it has had on you is immense.
It's a value-added feature.
Absolutely value-added feature.
Yes.
I'm saying, okay, you can have the tea in the restaurant.
Absolutely.
Okay, or you can have the tea in the room. But that emotion and the feeling and that newness and uniqueness you will get having the tea in the tea shop cannot beat. Nothing else will come near you.
I'll tell you another thing about that tea shop is, if a client doesn't want to leave the hotel, because that hotel in itself, I remember I canceled the afternoon trip because I thought, what an amazing property. You don't need to leave the hotel because everything is in the hotel. And what was very nice is we spent time there. And for a foreigner who wants to experience village life but doesn't really want to dirty their hands or have that hands-on experience, here is another form of getting that experience, because I remember there was a potter there.
Yep.
He showed us how to do pottery. Of course, he told me to get lost because I couldn't do it. But it's just those little things that CGH Earth thinks of that brings that personal feeling. You're taking from CGH Earth and you're giving back.
Back to C. So it's about. As again, I'm repeating myself here, but then it's very important in the today's context to say this, because a holiday seeker, unless or until you tell him what you have unique in this world, he's ignorant of it. And the duty of us and duty of tour operators and travel agencies is the fact that to give that different uniqueness to them, not to make their holiday repetitive, not to make their holiday the same old sand, sea and surf as we call it. Give them something very challenging. It might be difficult for them to accept it in the first place. Okay, Kerala? Where? 22 hours flight to Dubai or to Qatar or to Abu Dhabi. But you tell him the uniqueness of these factors, how you come there and how you... I think I have seen people transforming and they actually change. The benchmark of the holiday differs. Now, I have had clients coming and telling us that, my friend, now next holiday is going to be very challenging for my tour operator, because he has to give something as good as this in terms of nature and culture and people. So he's actually changing the benchmark. So CGH, in a way, becomes a benchmark, and people have said this is a hidden gem.
It is.
Now, why are you not saying it so loud in the market? So I said, US we came into the market quite late into the US market because it was long haul and it's whatever happened in the past and all that. Our traditional market has been UK and Europe. Now we are seeing a good percentage of US clients increasing. That is because awareness is slowly growing. Otherwise, the US market, the awareness was about Taj Mahal. When you talk about India, Taj Mahal, Golden Triangle. But we are saying that there is a country within a country. Coming to India and ticking off India by seeing Taj Mahal is a crime. It's a must-see, so you've seen it. But you come to South India or Kerala for a different destination. It's a different country. You will have to think that it's a different country. And when you come there, you cannot think that since you've been to India, north of India, it's going to be the same. Mm-hmm. No, it's a different country altogether. So don't carry that baggage of coming to yes. India and coming to South India. Okay, I've done India, I can expect this. No, you are in for a big surprise mm-hmm. when you come there. So this when you come there, such a long haul, what you want to seek for a holiday is what we give there, because that is what we can do the best. I think what we can do the best is to give you, in that 2 weeks of time or 3 weeks of time, give the best of nature, best of earth, best of people, all combined together. We will give it to you in this 3 weeks or 2 weeks, wherever they are there. So each and every moment, each and everything, what you do is engaging. And engaging is either with the earth, either with the people, or with the culture. You wouldn't realize the fact that you've touched upon a lot of culture by the time you would have finished it. And nothing is repetitive. I think that's the beauty of it. Nothing is repetitive.
No. Shailu, I want to thank you so much for joining me, for giving me your time. I know you're pressed for time. It is, I have to say, staying at your property was such a privilege and an honor. It was coming home, meeting with my people, and it broke my heart leaving them. I'm looking forward to visiting again.
Please, most welcome.
And all of you out there, if you're interested in traveling to Kerala, God's own country, please give a Classic Tours Collection a call. We have a tour that's going in September and October. We would love to have you be part of our trip. And CGH Earth is featured in our tour. Please do call us, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah?
Yeah.